This is basically a video game, and it's the most basically blasphemous video game to ever exist. I mean, they're basically putting Jesus as like a Dragon Ball Z character. I mean, it's a joke. This game is a joke. It's called Fight of Gods. Basically, they're saying there's other gods like Buddha and all that. We all know Buddha. I mean, it's just blasphemy. They basically make Jesus Christ out to be some superhero that basically goes around beating people up and beating them up. Notice how the cross, this is a mockery to start with. Notice he's got ropes. This is a blasphemous joke. Jesus Christ was not tied by ropes to a cross. He was nailed to a cross. He had nails through his hands. I don't believe many have predicted it wrong, saying, oh, he didn't have nails in his hands. Clearly did. Wasn't tied to a tree or the cross. He was nailed to the cross. His feet and his hands. And they're just basically promoting, oh, he was tied by a rope. And this is a mockery to start with. Remember the Romans and that in the Bible, when they crucified Jesus Christ, they said, if you are surely the Son of God, get yourself down from the cross. They mocked him. That's what they did. They mocked him. They said, if you're the Son of God, get yourself down from the cross. And they basically tried to give him vinegar and that to mock him. They mocked Jesus Christ on the cross. They spat him, beat him, they beat him up. They really beat him up. That's what the Romans did. And Jesus Christ still forgave them. I mean, look at this. Absolute joke. I mean, not even crucified. He's gone around beating people up with the cross. You got Buddha. So basically somebody can play as Buddha and beat the crap out of Jesus Christ. Joke. Buddha is not a god. All the other religions are not true religions. Religion doesn't save anyone. The only person that saves people is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the only way and the only way to heaven. These so-called Buddha ain't a god. It ain't a god. Buddha is not a god. Never will be. I mean, you just look up the so-called history, and what do you see with most of these so-called gods? They're always throwing satanic hand signs, or as you see, as above, so below. Notice as well, it's a woman, basically a woman's face, and what looks like a man's body. Transgender gender, and as well the sun wheel, pagan. All these so-called gods ain't gods. They were set up by Satan. As I said, most likely these were fallen angels, basically false gods, getting people to worship them as a god, as we see. Buddha, main joke. And then you have the dragon, who is known as the dragon. Satan. Satan is known as the red dragon. I mean, it's just a blasphemous game, that's all it is. It's a blasphemous game. You got Jesus Christ acting like some sort of Dragon Ball Z in Mortal Kombat. They've now basically turned religion into a Mortal Kombat. It's a joke. It's not funny. This is a mockery. And what does it say in the Bible? This: Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness or anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath, under the earth. So as you see, God makes it very clear in Exodus that you're not to make an engraven image. So even the images on Google that you see of people saying, oh, this is what Jesus Christ looked like, that is an abomination. It annoys God. And then you have basically Moses here. I mean, this is just straight up mockery to start with. Basically the flood that God did with Moses, they're basically using it as a power to fight against people. I mean, honestly, it's just to make fun of Christianity. That's all it is. It's just to make fun of it. I mean, as you say, joke. I mean, it's blasphemous. It is blasphemous. No, I mean, the dragon might as well be the fight of Lucifer. And the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, Satan's not even in this. Wonder why? Oh, because you can't have Satan getting beaten up in a game, can ya? With all the Satanists and the sellouts. They're obviously not going to put Satan in the game getting beaten up. No. But they're going to have somebody that can play as Buddha and beat Jesus up. Absolute joke. And as you see, this is what so-called gods these really are. Notice the 666 hand sign. These were fallen angels, there's no doubt about it. Because what the fallen angels want to be worshipped as a god. So connected to the Egyptians and all that. Because you never heard of these so-called gods until the rebellion against God, and when this was all set up by Satan to confuse the masses, basically, so they worship other false, basically so-called gods, and they'll never turn to the one and only God. There's only one God, and it's called Jesus Christ. I mean, this here, since when was the woman God? Then you got here, basically, Moses with a dragon-like shield. Then you got witchcraft. I mean, this is promoting witchcraft. Witchcraft. It's a joke of a game. It's not funny. As you say, this is like witchcraft. And of course people are going to go, oh, this is hilarious. And guess what? Guess who they didn't put in the game? Like always, because the Muslims always get offended. Because the people that kill people in the name of Allah Akbar are cowards. So they are. Cowards. And as we see, this is more information about this garbage. I mean, you look at it here. Producer says Jesus is a pop culture. No, he isn't a pop culture. He's called a savior. He ain't no pop culture figure. Basically, calling him a pop culture basically is like, oh, he doesn't exist. He's not a figure. He's called God. And he's the only God. I mean, you look at Buddha, Zeus, Moses, and even Jesus. who fights back with chunks of the cross still nailed to his face. Then straight up blasphemy. And you read this, of course they're not going to include Muhammad in it and Allah, because can't offend the Muslims now, can we? It's a joke. And I'm honestly tired of it, because people say, Muslims are always being hated on. No, they're not. They're being protected all the time. Every single time a mosque is burnt down. Poor Muslims. They don't care about Christianity. Muslims do not care about Christianity. They don't care. All they want to do is push their satanic anti-Christ beliefs onto others, and that most Muslims believe if you don't believe what they believe, they have the right to cut your head off. But you read it here, and no offence is intended. There's no offence. Is that why they're making images like this? Jesus Christ mocking him. I'm still on the cross and I'm gonna go around beating people up. It's a joke. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. And this is not the first time they've made a game like this. I mean, evolve your gods to save the universe. I mean, look at this now. There's another game, the Battle of Gods Apocalypse. These are not gods. I mean, you just look at it. This is witchcraft, the lightning bolt. I mean, look at it. Battle of the Gods. I mean, then you got the dragon here, Lucifer. I mean, these games are just blasphemous and a joke. I mean, look at this. Witchcraft. These are not gods. There's only one god, and that's, again, a lightning bolt. Absolute blasphemous. I mean, look at it, it's all witchcraft, promoting witchcraft. The Battle of Gods Apocalypse. There's only one god. Well, they push the same thing with Dragon Ball Z, they push the same thing. These are basically want to be worshipped as gods. I mean, they honestly do, they push the same thing in Dragon Ball Z. Put yourself in a godlike figure. But like I said, of course, they're not going to make fun of Allah, are they? Because the Muslims will get offended. Notably, neither Allah nor the Prophet, the paedophile Muhammad, are featured in the roster. I wonder why. We says that because Islam is less tolerant of pop culture depictions of icons. Yeah, because they're a bunch of cowards, that's why. That's all they are, the cowards. Because they are cowards, so all they do is react in violence. If you make fun of Allah, we're gonna kill you, we're gonna blow you up. That's all they can do, is threaten people with violence. That's all they can do. We'll cut your head off. Honestly, I ain't afraid of death. If a Muslim is gonna cut my head off, say do it. I ain't afraid, because this is what they do all the time. There's basically terrorist groups out there that cut people's heads off in the name of Allah, and they say they serve God. You don't serve God, serve the Antichrist, because honestly you can't say that Islam isn't being protected. It's being promoted every single day. And Christianity is basically getting persecuted day in, day out. And Islam's being promoted. If you make fun of Allah, we're gonna kill you. It just shows that their religion is full of hate. It ain't a religion of peace. People need to stand up to these cowards, because that's all they are. Stand up to them. Because they all bow down to, and we all know why they bow down anyway, because Allah is Satan. Or Muslims can basically deny it and say, Allah isn't Satan, Allah's God, Allah's just the name of God. Yeah, they can't back it up and prove this. I've actually read some of the Quran, and it is a garbage book. That's all it is. It's full of lies. And it's a man-made book. It wasn't written by God. It was written by people like paedophile prophets like Muhammad. Muhammad was a child molesting paedophile. That's what he was. I don't care what anyone says, that's what he was. He married like 6-year-olds, 7 years old. Basically, children that have not even hit puberty yet. He's a paedophile. He forced 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds to marry him and have sex with him. Proves that they're a paedophile. I mean, the laws in basically Islam is if a woman's not allowed to go alone, if they're out alone, they'll basically be murdered on sight. You're stoned to death in Islam. If you believe in something else, you're stoned to death. And I mean, as well, it's just a whole, I could sit here all day exposing it as it's a false religion. That's all it is, and they want to push it on. This is a religion of peace. No, it isn't. It's not a religion of peace at all. I mean, because even Islam is involved in, Islam's actually part of Babylon. It really is. The Vatican, Rome, Greek, all those countries, even America, are part of Babylon. Babylon is a rebellion against God. Who is the countries rebelling against God? Rome, the Vatican. You basically got Islam as well, killing Christians, yet nothing's said about it. But when a Muslim's killed, it's on the news, let's all feel sorry. No. I've actually talked to some Muslims, and most of them are pure evil. They basically wish death on you. They say, and that's what they do. In the UK, basically, there's a lot of them here. There's been a lot of them that have basically beat people up and murdered people, and they get away with it. And they say it's a religion of peace. They ain't fooling no one with that garbage. Well, as I said, they won't involve Allah or the Prophet Muhammad because, they don't want to offend the Muslims. Yet they'll happily make fun of every other religion, they'll make fun of God, they'll make fun of Jesus Christ, but they won't make fun of Satan or Allah or the Prophet, the paedophile Muhammad, but they'll happily make fun of other religions, and they'll happily make fun of Jesus Christ. But let's not make fun of Allah. It's a joke. That's all it is. I've never supported Islam, never will. It's straight up a religion of the Antichrist. And then you got this, the Prince of Peace is tearing people to pieces in a new video game that pits holy figures from various religions against one another, inspired by both one on one. Brawling games, Street Fighter. Street Fighter is basically straight up, basically, so they basically worship as gods, same as Dragon Ball Z and all that. Fight of the Gods challenge players to beat the tar out of holy icons. So as you see, somebody can play as Buddha and basically Moses and that, and beat the crap out of Jesus Christ. So they're basically promoting violence against Jesus Christ. It's not really surprising. I mean, games like these will get promoted. But I guarantee you, if Allah was in this video game, you'd have a lawsuit. You'd have a lawsuit taken against this, and you'd have a riot and all that. You'd have Muslims in the street. Remove this. We worship Satan. We worship Satan. Remove it. Stop mocking Satan. Because honestly, seriously, why do you think many Muslims have come out of Islam? Why would they need to come out of Islam if they were serving God? Wouldn't need to, would they? It just proves it's a false religion. And most of them are just so, and they believe in the Quran so much. I mean, even in the Quran it says Allah is the great deceiver, and it says as well, Allah deaf to all, or deaf to all unbelievers, behead all unbelievers. It just proves, since when does God require people to be beheaded? Does Jesus Christ go around saying, oh, murder people that don't believe, cut their heads off? No. Will Jesus, fresh from ripping himself off the sacrificial cross, smite all his foes with the power of his punishment first? The game's developers, can Buddha slap his opponents into submission? I mean, honestly, it's just beyond blasphemy. That's all this is. It's beyond blasphemy. It ain't funny. It's a joke. That's all it is. It's a joke. I mean, as you can see, more of the blasphemous stuff. Immortal Kombat, new video game, Fight of the Gods, pits Jesus left against Buddha right, sitting on a golden seat. And then you have this, nailed it, Jesus brawls, begin with him snapping himself off the cross, leaving chunks of it on his fist. The game is a one-on-one. I mean, it doesn't get any more blasphemous than it is. And then you got this, apparently nothing that you can spell Pacifics without fist. And as you see, there's mocking it here. There's mocking Jesus Christ. I mean, he's back and he's cross. I mean, as you see, this is just a straight up mockery. He's cross, mocking when he was crucified on the cross. The game trailer says after the Son of God breaks free of his crucifix and plumbles Buddha with the chunks of wood still nailed to his face, the inclusion of Jesus looks strikingly gimmickly marketing ploy, although early reviews of the game have been, wonder why it was positive, or largely positive, because half of the world hates Jesus Christ, that's why, and most of the world worships Satan. They worship the Antichrist, so it's no wonder this game gets good ratings, because there's a lot of people out there in the world that hate Jesus Christ so much. They say, oh, Jesus Christ is a fairy tale. It doesn't matter what you believe, because at the end of the day, on Judgment Day, you won't be laughing. God will be the one. God won't be laughing either. God will come with vengeance. He won't be like he was when he was on earth, being loving and that. He won't be like that on Judgment Day. It'll be a day of wrath. And I'd like to see all the people that mock God on Judgment Day. God will wipe out anyone in his way. God is not mocked. And then, it just says it all. When asked if the game was designed to stir up controversy, told Daily Mail that he just wanted to create an all-stars type of fighting game featuring. But he added, if the inclusion of Jesus makes more people interested in the fight of gods, then we feel that is confirmation. So basically beating people are gonna go and worship a false Jesus Christ. Basically a Jesus Christ that's gonna go out and beat the crap out of everyone. And that Jesus wouldn't go around doing that. Did you see him when he was on earth beating people up? Beating people to a pole? No. However, he said the intention was never to offend anyone. Sure it wasn't. I mean, when you got stuff like this, he's back and he's cross. That's not intended to be offensive. They know exactly what they're doing. They're mocking God on purpose. We wouldn't say a Christian person is wrong to feel offended. That's okay, we said, but we also wouldn't say we are wrong to see Jesus as a competing or mythical. As you see, they don't even believe in God. They're saying Jesus Christ is a myth in popular culture. And then you got this also featuring in the game on Norse God. Norse is not a god. Odin, leader of the Greek Pharaoh, Zeus, an Egyptian death god Anubis. These Anubis was known as, that is connected to the Egyptians, and that was a fallen angel, no doubt about it. Yeah, it just goes on and on. God mode. Other fighters include Zeus, left and right from the Greek north mythologically. Fans have noted that Allah and Muhammad are not included, but I guarantee if they were mocking Muhammad and Allah, this would be getting bad ratings. It's always to protect the Muslims all the time. That's all it is. They'll happily make fun of everybody else, so won't they? That's how you know Muslims are a bunch of hypocrites, because they'll happily blaspheme and mock other religions, but as soon as somebody speaks out against their religion, oh, you're a racist. It's a joke. Get crossed. I just see again, mockery. The game's lead developer said that there's no intention to cause offense. Sure it isn't. Is that why you're mocking again, saying get cross? And that he sees Jesus as a figure in popular culture, but said offensive was understandable. So if he knew that it would be offensive, but created it anyway. It says there are also some non-godly figures. See what I mean? And they say it's the fight of the gods, yet admits that these people ain't gods, including revered Chinese general Zhong Kong. Since when was Zhong Kong a god? Honestly, who is revered as a symbol of bravery in China, say developers, and Moses, who washes away enemies with tidal waves. honestly. Each fight also takes place in a holy ground background from the Garden of Eden. Oh, of course they're gonna mock the Garden of Eden. I bet Satan's not around. I bet you don't see the snake around. The parted Red Sea with more characters and locations to be added in development. Yeah, of course people are going to fund this game because it mocks God. It's not really a surprise. Where are Muhammad and Allah asked user Islamophobia. Muhammad should definitely be in the game, but I think the devs have some in this regards obviously replied. If they do not include him in the roster, it's a real possibility that one day they'll have their door. Who cares? Who cares if but this is all they can do. This is all they can do is threaten people with violence because they can't do anything else because they're a bunch of cowards that hide behind weapons, and they're such cowards that they can't even show their own face when they're cutting someone's heads off. They basically put a mask on. Shows what a bunch of cowards they are. And then we'd be left paying for an unfinished game. How's that fair to cause some evil person will get offended and want to murder somebody, but I mean honestly, yeah, they'll mock God. Joke. As you can see, this is a straight up protection of Muslims, like always. That's all it is. And then we'd be left. Another user suggested they just settle for Muhammad Ali. And oh, of course, let's just put it as Muhammad Ali. Let's not put it as the real Muhammad, because we don't want to offend the Satanists that are the Islam, because that's really what they are. Making waves, there are also non-godly characters, but you see the non-godly, yet they put them in here. And then you gotta take a bow, Japanese god, nope. Uses a magic bow, there you go, promoting magic. Witchcraft. The Islamic prophet Muhammad will never be in the game. Yeah, I wonder why. It's because Muhammad was a child. If they're gonna put seriously, if they were gonna put Muhammad in it, put Muhammad surrounded by children and call his first name pedophile, because that's exactly what he is. And I don't care if any Muslim gets offended by it. I don't care. Because it's alright for Muslims to make fun of God, but when a Christian basically makes fun of Allah, we're classed as racist. Will never be in the game, as the designers feel that Islam is less tolerant of popular culture depictions. Yeah, because we all know all they do is threaten people. We'll blow you up. We'll commit suicide. We'll blow ourselves up. That's all they can do. Threaten people with violence. And that garbage that they believe in. Oh, if I blow myself to bits, I'm gonna have 99 virgins in heaven. No, you commit suicide, you are going straight to hell. But that's what they promote. Oh, if I blow me. And if you look at Islam anyway, there's people that have got like 5 wives, 6 wives, and they say they serve God. It's a joke. Since when was it known in the Bible that, did you see like prophet like Moses and that having like 6 wives? No. Having like 6 wives, even having more than one wife, is idolatry and adultery. That's what it is. I mean, you're lusting after another woman. It's a joke. And then you've got this, but we said that both Muhammad and Allah, the latter of whom is basically no, it isn't, same as the Christian and Jewish God, won't be duking it out. No, this is a lie. Allah is not God. Allah is not God. That's a fact. It says it in the Quran. Allah is the great deceiver, who is known as the deceiver, Satan. And then you've got Fight of Gods will never include depictions from Islam. He said our intention has always been to keep offense to a minimum, as this is supposed to be entertainment. Oh, so it's entertainment mocking God now, is it? These people are going to get what's coming to them one day. While some may take offense at the inclusion of Jesus or Buddha, for example, we feel those faiths to be perhaps more tolerant. No, we're not. We're not more tolerant. It's just because some lukewarm people want to say, oh, I'm not offended by Jesus being mocked. Yes, because you're lukewarm. If you're not offended by God being mocked, then you need to get right with God, because you should be offended by this. Because when you're a Christian, God now lives in you. God is now, basically you say, Jesus Christ, live my life through you. Jesus Christ, Spirit, that's why it's called the Holy Spirit. I mean, but we're not more tolerant. See, we are a bit tolerant, but Islam is not tolerant because all they do is promote violence. Christians are forgiving, Islam ain't. They just want everyone dead, because that's who they are. Evil people. One user on the discussion board was surprised by another omission. What a joke of a game. I can't believe there was Jesus and Moses, the fighters, ha ha ha, and no Satan. Exactly, but the name's 666, obviously they serve Satan, no doubt about it. But it's funny how there's no Satan in it, isn't there? There's no Satan, there's no Allah, there's no Muhammad. Can't have Satan being beaten up now, can you? Because of the Satanists that run Hollywood and the elite. Can't have the Illuminati having Satan being mocked, can you? I mean, honestly, and they're charging people $7.99. What a joke. You just look at it. It's clearly the developer's main promotional tool. Yeah, we all know why, because it's to mock God. I mean, as you can see, it's just a straight up mockery, that's all it is. And there's even more proof in the Bible that this is a mockery and this is blasphemy, this game. Ye shall make you no idols, no graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of a stone in your hand to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. And what did he have in Rome? A false statue of Jesus Christ that they bow down to. Catholics the same. They have a false depiction of Jesus on a cross. They have false depictions all around the Church of Jesus Christ, and yet they bow down to an engraven image of Mary and Jesus, because they don't serve God. Because a true Christian knows that worshipping a false image of Jesus Christ annoys God, and God spake. And as we see here in Acts, for as much them as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold, or silver, or stone, graven by art and man's device. Exactly. God deserves more respect. God is not like the world. He is not of the world. And as you see, lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude or any figure, the likeness of male or female. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness or anything that is in heaven or above. Well, as we see, it's repeated in Exodus, it's repeated because God's making it very clear not to do it. As you see, I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. See, so this is proof right here that images like this, God doesn't respect. This is offensive to God. This is blasphemy to God. God ain't laughing at this. God's not happy at this. He's annoyed because he clearly made it clear in the Bible not to do it. And as well in Exodus 20:5 again, it's repeated over and over again for a reason. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. See, God knows how many generations hate him. He knows someone's heart. He knows if somebody cares. You can't hide it from God. God already knows what you're gonna do before you do it. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself, yea, he kindeth it and baketh bread, yea, he maketh a god and worshippeth it, he maketh it a graven image and falleth down thereto. So as you see, God knew this would happen. God knew that the Vatican and the Catholic Church would do these things. Because, and many people say, oh, this was written by man. No, it wasn't. The Bible was an inspired word of God. God made it clear that this is his word. Then shall it be for a man to burn. And as you see, he makes it clear over and over again. God makes it clear. But what say the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So as you see, they were basically worshipping the image of Baal. As we know with the so-called Jewish that were doing it. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, as you see in Exodus. There's a reason there's so many verses in Exodus. God's making it clear that you shall have no idols or gods. So notice how it's lowercase, meaning they're not gods, the false gods. When it's lowercase, it means a false god. As you see, capitalized, uncapitalized, Uncapitalized means a false god. Capitalized means the one and only true God. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands, as you say. And the greater house he sealed with fir tree, which he overlaid with fine gold, and setteth thereon palm trees and chains. As you see, God makes it very clear over and over again in the Bible not to make images like this and bow down to them and worship them, because it's an abomination. That's what it is. And then we have this. They just have to put in every game, don't they? The rainbow. Notice like it's a cross as well. It's just a mockery of Christ, that's all this is. I mean, you can clearly see that this is the horns, the devil horns. This is just promotion of Satan. That's all it is. The rainbow pushing the LGBT agenda. As you can see, the rainbow colours in the background. It's just pushing it. Yes, the rainbow was a sign to basically Noah that the earth would not be flooded again, but the satanic entertainment, the video game industry and that have twisted the rainbow to the LGBT agenda like they always do. And I mean, this is straight up mockery, that's all it is. And as you can see, yeah, this is blasphemous to start with. I mean, Moses was a prophet of God, sent by God, and you basically got Moses and Jesus Christ fighting. This would never happen. This never happened, and never will. God doesn't beat the crap out of prophets. I mean, see what I mean? People can basically beat Jesus Christ up in this game. It's a joke.